Evening, peeps. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. All right, let's do this. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. We are fast closing in on 28,000 subs. Remember, the target is 30,000, but I think we're only like 20 away from 28,000. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. Please like and share the vids as well. Thank you so much for the feedback regarding my my first interview. We had Trav from Undefeated Podcast on yesterday. It's gone down quite well. I think a lot of you enjoy the look of the studio as well. I'm very hard on myself, so like there's things that I will improve, that I can improve, but I think for the first one, it was pretty good. I've got a hit list of guests as well, guys. So a lot of you already said, Ade, get this person, Eddie Hearn, AJ, blah, blah, blah. Guys, we're gonna get everyone from all walks of life. But obviously we're gonna keep it. I think majority of it will still be boxing guests or guests that come in that are from other walks of life, but we kind of veer into boxing chat as well. But yeah, we're planning to do those at least twice a week. Minimum one a week, but at least twice a week. So thank you so much for the feedback. And trust me when I say I will make everything as best as I can. Like I will try my absolute hardest. Remember, it's just a one man machine here. So we only can do what we can do, but we will give it a go regardless. All right, let's talk about Canelo. I think that's the news I want to chat about. There was nothing signed, but it looked like he was going to step up to cruiserweight and fight MAKABU. That was what we were hearing, right? You saw him at the WBC convention, him and MAKABU. They didn't go face to face, but they, they had a little stare down of some sorts. And he was going to go and chase that 5-weight world title belt. Maybe not so. Maybe not so. We're hearing. So I'm going to quickly go into Mike Coppinger's Twitter page because I think he was the first person to report this. I was at work and saw this and I was like, what? Like, where's this come from? Let me see if it him. Yeah, okay. So we're hearing that he will now stay at 168, not go down to 160. Some people are thinking, no. Stay at 168 and he'll fight Jamal Charlo next. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, MAKABU was good and I like the idea of him becoming a 5-weight world champion, all that. But Jamal Charlo versus Canelo, I mean, you American viewers tell me, this seems to be a massive fight. Like a massive fight. The one thing people have always said, or the two names that everyone's always said that they want to see Canelo fight is Charlo and Benavidez. Charlo and Benavidez. Some people have even said things which are just ridiculous, like Canelo is ducking Charlo and Benavidez. Maybe not so. Canelo looks like he will fight Charlo next, and that fight will be in May. I'm not quite sure what's happened with this MAKABU fight. MAKABU is due to fight, I think, in a couple of weeks' time. Was that a short turnaround? I don't know. But if you're MAKABU, and look, there's still a chance MAKABU gets to fight in September. But if you're MAKABU, I mean, imagine being that close, apologies, to the lottery ticket for it to be then pulled away. And we are talking lottery ticket. MAKABU can't be getting, it's wrong to speak about a man's pocket, but I'll be shocked if MAKABU has ever touched anywhere near $1 million. Like, 6 figures, yes, but nothing near. For Canelo, MAKABU might have been getting something between $5 and $8 million. That's now gone, for now. It looks like Canelo will fight Charlo. Again, we're at the early stages of this. This has surprised me, I can't lie to you, but I love it. I do love it. Just because, again, a lot of people, I don't know where this has come from. When you look at Canelo's hit list, a lot of people, for some reason, have said he's ducking Charlo. I think Charlo's on a decline. I do. I'm not as high as I was on both Charlos. I think Jamal Charlo is the better, but I'm not super high on Jamal Charlo. And I don't see how he beats Canelo, if I'm honest with you. It'll be a good fight. It'll be a good scrap, but Canelo will eventually get to him, as he's proven to do with all his opponents recently. But it's another unbeaten fighter that he's fighting. I mean, the hit list that Canelo's starting to put together now, if he does fight Charlo, even if he doesn't, but if he does, you add Charlo to the hit list. It's ridiculous. So his last 3 fights would have been unbeaten world champion, double world champion, sorry, 2-weight world champion, apologies, Billy Joe Saunders. Unbeaten world champion, Caleb Plant. And now the next one will be unbeaten, yes, he's coming up to 168, but unbeaten Jamal Charlo. Guys, this is crazy. This is crazy stuff. And if he does beat Jamal Charlo and then he takes on Benavidez next, then I'm sorry, we need to have a conversation. A proper conversation. Again, I like this fight way better than MAKABU. And this is no disrespect to MAKABU, but I always thought that Canelo was picking out the weakest champion to become a 5-weight world champion. And look, everyone in history has done it. Everyone that is a multi-weight world champion has picked one of the weakest in that division to become that. It is what it is. But for him to say, okay, no, give me Jamal Charlo, and this will be Canelo, by the way. Remember, Canelo dictates everything. He's the big A side in this. He is the cash cow. He would have had the names on the table, and it would have been, it probably would have been Benavidez. It would have been Charlo. There might have been even a picture of Demetrius Andrade there, Mr. You're an ugly fighter. And there would have been a picture of MAKABU. He's probably said, give me Charlo. Give me Charlo. Give me the man that for some reason everyone thinks I'm avoiding. For some reason, everyone's watched Charlo's last 4 or 5 fights and thinks, yeah, he's the man to beat Canelo. No. Again, not for me. Not for me at all. I don't see it, but I love it. It's a massive fight, and I'm guessing it's a fight that will be on PBC again, right? I mean, he's obviously done some good stuff with them recently with a Caleb Plant fight, which was, I believe, done something around 700,000 to 800,000 buys. So there's good business there. It's a massive fight for them. It's a massive, massive pay-per-view fight. Obviously, DAZN are going to be upset. Obviously, look, they have done stuff with Canelo in the past, and it looks like it's done well. They'll be upset, but yeah, it looks like we could be getting Canelo versus Jamal Charlo. This is what Mike Coppin just said. He says, I'm not so sure that Canelo will be fighting at cruiserweight or against MAKABU. I hear him that it's much more likely that he's going to fight Jamal Charlo on Cinco de Mayo. There are talks right now for that fight. Whew. Jeez. This is really, really big. It's interesting because Caleb Plant tweeted the other day, you guys, if you don't follow Caleb Plant, go and check out his Twitter page. He says, you've been indirect at Future of Boxing, which is Jamal Charlo, so I'll be straightforward. We can figure it out by the end of the year. Your easy work. And I was like all over that fight. Oh, fantastic fight. I didn't like the end of the year stuff. I thought fantastic fight. Maybe not now. Maybe not. I mean, look, they could potentially still get on in the end of the year. There's nothing wrong with Jamal Charlo potentially having a fight with Canelo and losing, then fighting Caleb Plant down at the end of the year. Nothing at all. But obviously now it will 110% be. I mean, if you're Charlo again, I mean, I said about the lottery ticket for MAKABU. Don't get me wrong, Charlo gets paid some good money, but it will be a lottery ticket for him as well. And the opportunity to go up in weight and become, let's not forget this, a free weight world champion. So that's what's on offer for Charlo. Remember, he was a champion at 154, obviously current WBC champion at 160. Potentially, not only you, look what's on the table for Charlo here. Not just becoming a free weight world champion, which is incredible, by the way. I mean, don't be fooled by the guys doing 5s and 6s and 7s, or Manny Pacquiao cases 8s. A free weight world champion is legit. But you got the chance to become undisputed. So you got a chance to beat Canelo, pound for pound #1, make a hell of a lot of money, and become undisputed. Incredible. Incredible opportunity for Charlo here. Again, I hope it happens, because you are looking at what could become now one of, if not top 3 biggest fights of 2022 already. I mean, 2021 was a great year for boxing. It looks like 2022 could be something special as well, people. It really does. I did see something else. I want to go. I'm going to go on Michael Benson's Twitter page. I think his name's Todd Smith. I could be wrong here. I think it is Todd Smith of PBC. He done a podcast the other day, and there was a couple of things that he was mentioning, and one of those was about Tyson Fury. Sorry, Tim Smith. Apologies, guys. Tim Smith. It was about Tyson Fury and about Terence Crawford. I want to get onto the Terence Crawford thing first. This is what Tim Smith said. Economics. You don't want to insult Crawford, but he hasn't been built into a pay-per-view star. Nobody wants to make him an offer that's insulting. The numbers won't be enough to give him what he wants. I've always said this. I've always said this. Now look, Terence Crawford would have his management company, and they would have gone to PBC with a number. They would have said, okay, you know, we want the Terence. So as much as Terence Crawford looks like he wants to fight, and sorry, apologies, let me take that back. As much as he wants to fight, he obviously wants to get paid for the fight as well. You want to get paid. It's a big fight. There's a number of belts on the line. It's pound for pound status. It's bragging rights. It's a lot. Now, he would want his number. I think that number is going to be high. I think it's going to be around the $10 million mark. Errol Spence will want a bit more than Terence Crawford, because Errol Spence is the one that's done good pay-per-view numbers against Danny Garcia and Mikey Garcia, and even against Sean Porter, good numbers. and Errol Spence has more belts. So Errol Spence is going to want a bit more. I've always said there's just not enough money in the pot for this. Like, it's a big fight for us hardcore fans. We're desperate for it. But in terms of attracting the casuals, it's not a fight that does 500,000 pay-per-view buys. I really don't think it is. Honestly, I really don't think it is. And that's a shame. So, I mean, if Tim Smith is saying this, then I don't know. And let's not forget, he is vice president of PBC. I mean, you know, it doesn't get much bigger than that, does it? I mean, if he's saying that he doesn't want to insult Terence Crawford with a figure, then Terence Crawford's either going to have to reduce his expectations of money, or this fight just ain't happening and he has to move on, and he might be looking at opponents like Josh Taylor. I think that's a good fight for him. Again, I don't know, that's a big fight. It's not a legacy changing fight for him, I don't think. I mean, if Josh Taylor was to come up to 147 and, you know, have done something, then yeah, but it's not. So I don't know. We might see Terence Crawford jump another weight to 154 and try and become a full weight world champion. He might try and do that. But even up there, what are the big fights? Not much up there for him, is there? He also spoke about Tyson Fury. Again, this is what he had to say about Tyson Fury. Nobody's coming to see Tyson Fury as a gate attraction unless he's fighting Deontay Wilder. Maybe in England if he fights Anthony Joshua or Alexander Usyk over there, but in America, who's coming to see Fury fight anybody other than Wilder? Very interesting. Look, there might be a bit of a, I don't know, he might be angry. Tyson Fury's beating his man, and I get that. But, I mean, if you look at the gate numbers for like the Otto Volin fight and the Tom Schwartz fight, they weren't great. They weren't great at all, which is why I've said, and I know my boy CRB is like, it ain't going to happen. I've said that if Tyson Fury fights Dillian Whyte, it's over here. Because that statement about nobody wants to see him in America might ring true in America. Over here, Tyson Fury, and I'll repeat myself because I've said this and people have said no, Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte is a stadium fight of epic proportions over here. It's a fight that draws in all the casuals. And it does, because I speak to people that are not really into boxing like we are, guys watching this channel right now, and they are all over the Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte thing. They're like, oh, I want to see it, I want to see it. Whereas some big hardcore boxing fans are like, oh, nah, Fury beats Dillian Whyte easily. They don't care. They want to see the fight. Trust me, it's a fight that will do really good numbers. So that's why I've always said I think Tyson Fury's next fight will be over here. Yes, I know he has a deal left with Top Rank, or I think a fight in the contract. One fight left, I think it is, with his Top Rank contract. I don't know if he's re-upped with them, but his next fight should be over here, and I think will be over here, because I think Tim Smith's correct. And unless he's fighting a big name American, he's not going to do big numbers. He's not going to, especially if the Brits can't travel either. I mean, obviously, and there is this current COVID thing you might have heard of. So I agree. I think his next fight will be in America. I really do. All right, let's quickly run through some news. I've actually got to film the DAZN boxing show in what, an hour. This is at 6 o'clock. The DAZN boxing show is at 7. All right. Daniel Jacobs. It's always been a dream of mine to fight in London. Obviously, Daniel Jacobs will be fighting at Alexander Palace against John Ryder. I spoke about that already. We'll move on from that. We might do, you know, it would be really cool. Imagine getting Danny Jacobs in here, like in fight week. Don't know how difficult that will be, but that would be really sick. Tony Yoka receives IBF invitation to face Filip Hrgovic in title eliminator. Tony Yoka has got Carlos Takam, I think it's this weekend. Unfortunately, Martin Bacoli has pulled out. I'm not quite sure if it's COVID or injury. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but he's got Carlos Takam. I think it's a very good replacement. Let's see. I mean, right now Hrgovic is going down the IBF rankings. I think, yeah, and I think if, for whatever reason, injury different, but if you just decline the fight with Hrgovic, you should be removed from the rankings. You can't just be declining fights like that. I don't know. That's my take on it as well. I think, or my take on it anyway, I think he should be removed. You know, like Hrgovic is going down the rankings here and people are just saying no. Now, we're led to believe Luis Ortiz, Joseph Parker, and now Tony Yoka. Let's see what Tony Yoka says. I'd love to see that fight. I think Tony Yoka can beat Hrgovic. People might call me crazy, but I think there's something a bit special in Yoka. I really do. I like him a lot. I just don't think we've seen the best of him yet because he's not had the best opponents in front of him. I think put him up against a good opponent, we'll see the best of Tony Yoka. Anthony Joshua here saying, losing to Usyk mentally killed me because I was 100% ready, but I'll redeem myself. Let's see, man. Let's see what he can do. Don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Showtime's head on Canelo's return to the network. It's elevated these events back to where they belonged. I don't know, but obviously that's a dig at the zone. I'm not sure about that. I thought that Billy Joe Saunders' Canelo looked incredible. I honestly thought it looked incredible. And I know the sign-ups were astronomical as well. Trust me, people, when I say that. Some people on this platform might say it's not true. I know. I speak to the head of boxing for DAZN quite a lot. Sign-ups were incredible. So I actually thought that it looked way better. And this is just a visual thing. Looked way better than Canelo. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like they say, Showtime's like Canelo's return. He's not staying. Canelo right now is literally going wherever he wants to go. Wherever the fights are, he will go to that network to make the fight. And I think that's how it should be. So it's not like he signed a long-term deal with Showtime or anything like that. Josh Taylor on Teofimo Lopez. He was never undisputed in the first place. He wasn't. He wasn't undisputed. It's a fight that I think will happen. It's going to happen. Both of them with top rank. Teofimo Lopez now will fight his next fight at 140. He's not going to go straight in with a Josh Taylor. My only problem is, how long will Josh stay at 144? I think Josh will have the Jack Catchell fight, then one more. I think it'll be one more, then he'll go to 147. That one more could be Teofimo. That could be. But I see Josh going to 140. Like, honestly, I think, like, if it was Crawford versus Spence, I would love to have seen Josh versus Yordenis Ugas. I think Josh would beat him at 140. I really do. I think he'll beat him. And I think Josh could have become a world champion. And then you've got the belt, and then you can maybe get those Spence and Crawford fights. But yeah. Amir Khan on 149-pound weight limit. Brooke kept messing about, changing goalposts. I did this for my fans. Did this for your fans, eh? 10 years too late. You did it for us, huh? Nonsense. Nonsense. Look, it's happening now, but I mean, come on. Come on. Yeah. I'm excited for the fight because it's a fight I've been waiting for, and you know, both guys will look good on the scales. They'll be in great shape, but I'm not. I mean, I know what product I'm getting. You know what I mean? I'm not silly. I'm not like, oh my God, this is Khan versus Brook. Oh, I've waited. No. I know what product I'm getting when I see Amir Khan step in the ring with Kell Brook. You know what I mean? I've followed both of their careers. I'm lucky enough that I'm at the age where I've followed both of their careers from the get-go. Brook's debut and every single one of these fights. Amir Khan's debut and every single one of these fights. So I know exactly where both are in their careers. And if it wasn't for the fact they're off each other, I think both of them would have just called it quits, if I'm honest with you. This is the last big paycheck for both. Well, I mean, maybe not for the winner. The winner could potentially have another fight, depending on how they look. Conor Benn's out there, so you never know. Anything else we got here? The purse bid hearing has been delayed for Fury White. It was supposed to be January the 15th, which would have been this week. It's now been put back another week, which I guess what happens in a situation like that is that both parties have maybe asked for more time so they can see if they can come to some sort of agreement. That's what's happened. Or maybe one party is asked. So that might be a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing that the purse bids have been pushed back, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, just want to double check if there's anything else before we pack up and go. 2 secs. Regis Progress here saying him signing with Probellum was a no-brainer. Look, I'm all for. Look, I think this is a boxer's market right now, not necessarily a fans market. And what I mean by that is that there's so many different promotional companies right now, which is good, and that's why I call it a boxer's market. A boxer can now say, no, you know, Top Rank are offering me this, and DAZN are offering me this. What can you do? And they'll be like, oh, we'll just, you know, we chuck in another, I don't know, another 10,000, 100 grand. It's going to work for the fighter. For us as fans, there's so many different broadcasts, there's so many different networks. It makes it even harder to get the fights. Unless you are Canelo-like, who is not tied to any promoter. Sorry, yeah, well, tied to any promoter because he does his own stuff, really, or broadcaster, then it's okay because Canelo can literally say, okay, I'm going to go here, here, here. Others are signing 4 or 5 fight deals, and you're not going to let your talent, unless it's a mandatory fight or a big voluntary fight, you're not going to let your talent go and fight on another network. You're just not going to. So yeah, it's not great for us boxing fans, but very, very good for the fighters. And look, go out there and get your money. All right, anything else? Just double checking. A bit here with Jake Paul. Do we want to talk Jake Paul? No, I don't think we do want to talk Jake Paul. But yeah, the big news, the big boxing news today is that Canelo is likely to fight Jamal Charlo, 168 pounds. Jeez, man. That ginger kid ain't fucking about, is he?